welcome to today's BCS podcast. Today our special guest is DeShondra Booker.
Hello.
Hello. And thank you for coming in this morning.
I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I've never done a podcast before. So this will be new and different.
Well, cool. I'm glad that you're doing it here for BCS. DeShondra is our registrar.
Yes.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and also how you came to BCS?
Okay, so I am originally from Houston, Texas, graduated from high school in Dallas, Texas, came here to go to school at Texas, University of Texas, and I just never left. Stayed here all of this time. I've been married to Ernest Booker, who was a former board member, and we have one daughter, Juliet, who came through Brentwood K through 12.
Nice.
And just a little bit about how I came to be here. I had a friend from church who glued lamb costumes with me for vacation Bible school until about 2 o'clock in the morning. And it was way outside of her comfort zone. And then she asked me if I would come to Brentwood's open house with her. She'd had her daughter on the wait list for kindergarten since she was probably about 2 years old. And I thought, I do not want to go to this open house because I don't do things on Sunday. Like Sunday has always been like our family day. But how do you tell someone no who has glued lamb costumes with you and probably still has the cotton stuck to her fingers from until 2 o'clock in the morning? And so I went and I was blown away. We'd actually bought our home in Cedar Park specifically because it was one of 5 at the time IB, International Baccalaureate elementary schools in Texas. And so we had purchased our home in that location specifically with the plan that when we had children, that is the school that they would attend. And so I came, I visited, I was blown away. And if I'm being honest and transparent, it was not because of the Christian education, because I felt like, my husband and I are both Christians and we are very faithful and we are actively involved in our church community. And so I felt like we had all of those boxes checked. But I was very blown away by the test results of this Christian school. And so I went home and I told my husband, I said, oh my this school, and they say that they're not even teaching to test, but their results are like stellar and they're head and shoulders above the state and above the nation. And you've got to go look. We've got to go look. And I don't even know. We have attended Eastside for, probably close to 30 years. And I didn't even realize that Brentwood Oaks had a school. And so I was blown away. I brought him, and he too was blown away. Mrs. Allen was the teacher that we sat with for many, many moons ago. And so I won't bore you with all of the details, but here we are. She got the very last spot that was available in the kindergarten class. And my mindset was, I'm a planner. And so I thought, if she's waitlisted, we know that's God's will. It's not the case. But there was a student who had the option of doing first grade or kindergarten who chose to do first grade. And therefore, she got that spot. And so the rest is history. We've been here ever since. And now she's in her sophomore year of college and doing extremely well. And that education, that foundation that I was so impressed by, all those years ago, has served her and us incredibly. So I'm not just the hair care, the hairline president. I am a member, and so we have experienced Brentwood Christian School, and so I'm passionate about what I do for that reason.
Wow, that's a great testimony. Hairline president, yeah, I could use some more hair.
Oh, no.
I'm not a member.
No,
I'm not a member.
No, it's the hair club president.
Hair club.
Yes, the hair club president.
But that's okay. It's hair today, gone tomorrow.
No.
So today's topic is changing landscapes and trends in the college admissions process. So what are some of those biggest changes that you see in this college process?
I would definitely say I would look at testing and test scores and whether or not you need them. When we came out of COVID, which was right around the time that I started in this role, by all means, everyone thought we've gone test optional, we're going to stay test optional. And even colleges were saying that. That's what we were hearing from College Board. And slowly but surely, you could see that trend start to change. There were a few of the heavy hitters, like Dartmouth, that came out maybe a couple of years later and said, nope, we're going back to requiring test scores. And so while there are many schools that do still say they are test optional, I strongly, emphatically, if I could zero in on the camera and say emphatically, I encourage students work on that test score. So even when a school is test optional, 9 times out of 10, their merit is not. And if there is a way to be able to distinguish applications, if I'm looking at a student with a strong test score versus a student who has strong other pieces, but I don't have a test score, it really, to me, it doesn't matter what they say. I've talked to enough of them, like one-on-one admissions counselors, when I say them, to know that test scores are important. And so before a student goes test optional, I would want to have a conversation with them. And definitely, even if the decision is made to apply test optional, we just need to make sure that they've got a test score. And so I'm super excited this year. We partnered with More Than a Teacher to come in and help in our test prep class. Am I talking too much?
No, This is great stuff.
In our test prep class, because one of the things that we wanted to do with that SAT prep course is that we wanted it to be a course that had some teeth to it, to where our students could come in and we could know where they're benchmarking when they come in, and we could have a measurable result at the end. And so I'm super excited that we're partnering with More Than a Teacher that's here locally in Austin. I talked with parents. Parents had great reviews of them. I have found them to be very responsive with us, and looking at just some of the ratings that they received from other schools that they partnered with. I was super excited for us to be able to bring them in, and they're super excited to partner with us. So one, knowing that test scores are a changing piece, and us knowing that we've got a plan in place for that. And then the second thing that I would probably touch on would be the importance of the essay. Back in the day, way back in the day, when I was going through this process, I mean, you did an essay, but it wasn't the 500 word. It was kind of, why the school, why this major, and really and truly, it was the stats that had the ability to move the needle. And I don't see that as much. Like, you could have a student, if you've got a weaker area of that application, the essay is your chance to really win over your reader, by all means. So the essay is important.
Great advice, especially with all the preparation. Whether to take the test, if it's optional or not. I think it's always good to always prepare just in case.
Yes.
And you don't want to ever look back and say, I wish I would have, or I wish I knew that. So I'm very happy to hear that you push that and make that a priority. Very important.
You've got to have the score. Even if it's not for admissions, you're going to need it when you're registering for classes.
So when you brought up about essays, and I know with technology today, and now we have AI and that whole process, can you touch on that? And how does the AI essay checker come into all that? Is there something like that?
So let me just say this. Just a couple of years ago, we were going through this process with our daughter, and I wondered, there's no way, they've got thousands and thousands and thousands of essays. There's no way that they're running this through a checker. And in most cases, they are not running it through a checker, because I've asked, when we've gone out to lunch or just had one-on-ones with admissions counselors, I've just asked the question. However, they are very, very clear in saying that because we read, and they do read those essays, they are reading thousands and thousands of essays. They said it is as clear as the nose on your face when something has been written in AI. And I've probed to ask, how is that? And they said from the cadence, from the level of emotion that's included, they said that it is just such a clear standout for them when AI has been used, because you've sat and you've read, 7,000 essays of 17, 18, 19-year-olds, and then you've got these, 20, 25 outliers. It's very apparent to them. So I encourage students, do not use AI to write your essay. If there's a place for it. I think if you're looking for some creativity, if you're wanting to grab, if you're looking for some ideas to have those first 2 sentences that really grab your audience, by all means, there's a place for technology, but just do not use it to write your essay.
Definitely. Yeah. Great advice. And I do love AI, excuse me, but at the same time, I like to write my own stuff. It's just, I'm used to it. Of course, I'm old school. But I will use AI to kind of check my thoughts and my grammar and the structure, just to make sure that my point is getting across and it's clear. But I definitely want it to come from me.
Yes.
And people who know me would know the difference between if I used AI or versus if I did it by myself. So I think that's important, that we need to watch out for that. But it definitely is a great help, especially to get the conversation started in the essay.
I think you worded it perfectly. It's a tool.
It's definitely
it's the way
a tool.
To use it, yes.
So in regards to students, when it comes to the admission process, what do you wish that they would know or do or handle that process any differently?
if I am giving that some thought, okay, probably the first thing that I would go to is always apply to 7 schools. And when I say 7 schools, I'm meaning like 2 reach schools that are kind of like at the tippy top of your range. Like maybe you'll get in, maybe you won't. 3 schools that are kind of in your target zone to where you know that your stats and what you have kind of your resume, your background, if you will, is kind of like right there in their sweet spot. And then 2 safety schools. And by safety, I mean safety is like it's clear that you're going to get in. And then because it's so clear that you're going to get in, it's clear that you're going to get some pretty decent merit from them. And one of the things I will say, and I want to be transparent, that I see with our students a lot, is that when they're looking at those reach schools because their scores are strong, and we've got kids who have got those scores that are in the 1500s, and they're looking at those reach schools and they've kind of got them categorized as a target. No matter what, like if a school has an admissions rate of 15% or less, that is a reach school for everyone. And so that means that everyone applying has a 15 to 1600 score, and everyone applying has a 4.0. And so it's not that you're not a strong candidate. It just means that probably everyone applying is a really strong candidate. And so I want them to make sure that they have got those targets in addition to their reach schools. That would certainly be one of my suggestions. I'd also say like to organize yourself. And if I'm talking to
teenagers, organize?
Yes, you've got to do it. It is possible. Okay. Let me tell you, but sometimes it's going to require some parent assistance to be able to do that. These guys are busy. We've got our students who are highly involved on campus. Many of them are taking AP honors coursework in their senior year, and they are going through this college applications process. And so I say maximize your summer. Maximize your summer. Maximize the summer before your senior year. Spend that time really trying to get some of those things knocked out. Like if you've got some adjustments on the test score that you'd like to make, spend the summer doing it. And if you have got everyone has the essay, really polish that essay over the summer. And then let's put everything into a spreadsheet, like the schools you're applying to, when you get in, what their cost of attendance is, how much merit you're coming in with. If we can have all of that data, and I share that with students when we do our college night, use that spreadsheet, but drop all of that information in to where you're not trying to remember and what was my login for that again and my password. Let's have everything in writing, and then that spreadsheet that I share will show the difference, so you know what you have between the cost of attendance and your merit, where your gap is, and what you need to close. So organization, maximizing summer. And by all means, definitely the 7 schools, a minimum of 7 schools. That's my opinion.
Okay, yeah. Great advice again. Good stuff. So, what about parents? You mentioned that. What role does the parent play in the admissions process?
So I am a parent, and I'm kind of closely tied to this because it wasn't that long ago. The advice that I give to our parents, and same for myself, is when it comes to the application process. So when they're actually applying to colleges, your student needs to be the driver. That tells you a lot about how much you should invest. It tells you a lot about how committed they are to this process. But when it comes to financial aid, when it comes to the funding, we are co-drivers by all means, because there's a lot of money on the line, and I would never ask a 17 or 18-year-old to purchase a $200,000, $300,000 home on their own. And so I would encourage parents, if I could just use simple wording, that in the application process, support them. Read their essays, give them feedback, help them organize their thoughts. When it comes to the actual process of going through funding, my thought would be we are going to drive this car together. That's what we have used in our home. That's what I encourage other families to use, because students just don't know what they don't know. But for applications, colleges want to see that the student is by all means in the driver's seat, that they're asking the questions, they're sending the emails. It does need to be the student who's driving. Well,
and that's a very good point. But the role of the parent is still important, especially when it comes to the money.
Yes.
Which then brings up the next topic I'd like to talk about, like scholarships and funding, and about the FAFSA. So how does that all work, and what mistakes do you see that students or families make when it comes to that?
Gotcha. Probably for our families, if I'm being perfectly honest, is I think a lot of our families just kind of overlook the FAFSA, thinking that they're not going to receive any federal assistance just based on where their income sits. And that is a mistake simply because, one, to really package a student, to put their financial package together, most schools want it. And for merit, many schools will require it, even just for the merit piece, because the government probably about, I'd say perhaps 7 or so years ago, said that students could not have more than what the cost of attendance is. So every school is required to put together their COA, what the cost of attendance is, and that will include travel, room and board, tuition, fees, all of those pieces. And so once that amount has been set, a school is not allowed to continue to fund a student over that amount. Now, you could earn scholarships externally, but if they're coming into the school is going to lower its merit. And so as a result, they want that FAFSA in hand. They want to know that they've got documentation in place to make sure that they're handling that correctly. The other piece of that is that even for external scholarships, whether they're need-based or not, they just want it. And if you don't have it, sometimes it could be a matter of you not even qualifying. But it will definitely delay your student being able to get packaged, receive their full merit offer. So absolutely, you've got to do it. I encourage you to do it. The next piece is there are certainly colleges, one of them being like University of New York University. If you do not complete a FAFSA your freshman year, you will never be eligible for any school-based merit. And I think the same is also the case for MIT. So some schools are very, very adamant that they want to have that in hand. The next piece of that would be just making sure that parents understand and students understand what the FAFSA is and what it is not. It is not financial aid, if that makes sense. It is you submitting your information in which the government says, okay, we're going to determine what you might be eligible for. Many of the families in this community probably will not be eligible for a Pell Grant or a grant, but there are some who will. And so if there's money there, free money to be had, you by all means want them to be able to access it. The second piece of that is every student has the option of being able to opt into freshman year. I believe it's like a $5,500 loan. If a family had to take a loan, that is the loan that I would go to first. It's going to have your absolute lowest interest rate. And if it is allowed to be a subsidized loan, then it means that you won't even start accruing interest on it until the student is out of school for 6 months. So you want to complete the FAFSA. And so it's important for families to do so, even if you think you're going to receive no aid. And it's not nearly as cumbersome as it once was either.
Yeah, I've been doing this for like 20-something years.
Yes.
And I can tell you, we tell everybody, you have to fill that out.
You do.
If you don't, you'll find yourself in a bad situation later, potentially. Just filling it out opens up doors and possibilities that you never even thought you had. But if you didn't fill it out, you may miss out on that.
You're absolutely right. And there are doors that could close, even though it doesn't necessarily even pertain to those dollars and the information on that form and that application. But if a scholarship organization requires it and you do not have it, it's easy to just say, okay, I'm on to the next applicant.
Yeah,
So,
and
yes.
we give $9.3 million our students earned last year.
Yes.
in
yes,
scholarships.
it's
Is that
exciting,
crazy?
Right? It is, especially for so few students, right?
So tell me about the new link for the Common App.
Okay, this is very exciting to me. So when we're talking about financial aid this year, I love the Common App. I think it is so slick. The idea that you can go in for most schools and you can put your information in one time, you can have your letters of recommendation loaded one time, and then you can just pick and choose how you want to apply. But this year, one of the new enhancements that Common App is giving to students is that there is an entire menu dedicated to financial aid. And so I want to make sure that our students really do tap into that. But once you have submitted an application, you can then go over to the financial aid menu and you can link it so that you can find out any financial aid scholarship opportunities that school may have that you qualify for based on the information that you submitted. And I think that's pretty slick to be able to just pull that information over and apply right there after you've applied to the school. I love that a
Definitely.
lot.
For me, I would have clicked on the uncommon, actually.
No, I don't
it's just-
believe that.
Yeah, well. So what about some final thoughts that you want to leave for our families, our listeners out there about our students? Any advice to give to our juniors and even our sophomores and freshmen?
I would. If I'm talking to juniors, I'm going to say it probably until I'm blue in the face. Use this time to get that score where you want it to be. Take the ACT and the SAT. See which one you like, which one is like the most natural fit for you. And if you have got some gaps, which I do like about the SAT, you can literally see, you can nail down to see which questions you did poorly on. Use that time junior year moving forward to really drill down on that score. If you've not taken the class that we have here, sign up and take the class. But the sooner you do that, the more time you have, obviously, to get the score moved. One other thing that I will mention is that ACT, maybe like 2 times a year, they offer parents the option, I can't remember the acronym, but essentially you can buy your test. You pay 40 extra bucks or something like that, and you will get your test booklet. You will get your students' test answers. You will get the correct answers. And so you can drill down and see these are the areas that I missed. This was the correct answer. And you know whether you're dealing with something that is truly like a gap that you need to close, or is it that you're just not reading the questions correctly. So I love that about the ACT. For my younger students, one of the pieces that I would say of those for parents of younger students, and this is like if you're 9th grade and up, spend some time curating that resume. So if you have an interest in veterinary medicine, use those summers to maybe do some internships. We've got people here in this community who own ranches, farms. Maybe you can make some connections and let your student go out and just volunteer and serve. This gives them the opportunity to really explore if that's a true area of interest for them. And if it is, when we come to senior year and they're applying to colleges, they've also got demonstrated interest that they can speak to. One of the things that I've experienced with our daughter when we're applying to scholarships, there are a lot of really talented students out there. And so if you can have your student's resume really kind of curated to that major, and you can show demonstration. So she's got the grades, he's got the transcript, she's got the test score, he's got the test score. And in addition to that, essentially they've been interning or volunteering in this same area of interest. Maybe even they decide if they're in veterinary medicine, gosh, I know about this family that is struggling to keep their farm going, and maybe you do some type of fundraiser. Use social media. Use social media to your advantage, but work on building and curating, like you are building this complete portfolio so that when we get to grade 12 and it is go time, you are ready to go.
No, that's, again, more great advice, because it's important. Our daughter did that, all 3 daughters, but our oldest daughter, you mentioned veterinary. She worked for a veterinarian as an intern for a while. Then it was a paid staff member, but all that helped her, and she got into Texas A&M for veterinary science. So it does play a role in that. So great advice. Is there any closing comments you'd like to make?
I appreciate you having me on. I could talk about this all day. And so if I've talked too much...
Not at all. Okay. It's all very good information. It's information, obviously, our families need to hear, and especially our students. I know you do a great job working with them. And our history shows that. It shows that the students are getting into the colleges that they want to get into, and the scholarships that they receive, and all the preparation that goes in that. You're definitely in the right position. And so I'd be happy to have you come back. We can talk again, and even in other ways in which we can help support them to be able to take that step and be prepared for college. But even though we need to do our part, they need to do their part.
Absolutely.
Prayer is so important that we give it over to the Lord and really seek Him and His guidance. Lord, what is your will for us? For my student, for my child, for them to be able to speak with the Lord and say, Lord, where would you have me go? Where would you have me serve and be a light for you? What campus?
Joe, I was going to say the exact same thing. Like, it is so easy that for us as parents and as students, that this can become a stressful time, right? You're wanting them to do something, and they are like, gosh, I've got a million other things that I need to do. And their tensions can certainly rise in a family. And so just to remember that we're all on the same team, and that no matter what, like God has said, that the plans I have for you, no one else can take away. So whether you get into your dream school or you don't get into your dream school, to know that if you have laid your petition before God, He's going to place you in exactly the spot that you need to be. That can give us peace.
Definitely.
And so it's an exciting time. And I encourage students and families, like if they don't know, if they're just kind of like, I just don't know where to start, I know I need to get started, schedule an appointment with myself or Mrs. Zeladon. I love to sit with students. I love to sit down with families, and I know that she does too. And you do not have to figure this out on your own. People pay thousands of dollars for college counselors, and we have them here.
Definitely.
And we are more than willing to help because these are ours. And so thank you for having me on today.
Oh, thanks for coming. It makes it so easy because I always end the show with saying that our tagline, because it truly is a great day to be a